Hello, welcome back to Higurashi. Even though the 7 day video thing is over, I'm technically uploading this on Monday, so it's technically an 8 video streak. Just because I want to kind of keep the rough schedule and I don't really want to compromise, so that's what you call service, people. But last time we had found out Shion was interacting more with Satoshi throughout the weeks, going to the baseball games, pretty much being the manager. Or actually, I don't know if she went to a game, but no, she did. But she goes to at least the practices too. We got a little interesting view of Shion not really liking Satoko because she thinks Satoko is the main cause of Satoshi's sadness and stress, which isn't exactly wrong, but obviously, as a Satoko believer, um, I disagree. But I also found it interesting after thinking about it a bit more because Keiichi, it kind of does create a parallel to like Keiichi, because Keiichi doesn't really like Satoshi, like especially in Totoroshi, he was like blaming Satoshi for not being there a lot. Though I don't know if obviously the motivations are slightly different, but I guess it's just a different kind of love, like a sibling love with Keiichi and Satoko versus just love for Shion and Satoshi. And who knows, if Satoshi was alive, maybe Keiichi would blame Satoshi and would bonk him too, so it'll be interesting. I don't know how far Shion will take it. Maybe she will switch to the end eventually. Maybe she will plan on dealing with Satoko, which I hope I don't have to see. Maybe she is the one who I said this before, but maybe she like plans the child service thing, trying to get Satoko away from there. That could have been a possibility, but who knows? Let's just see how the rest of this chapter goes. Maybe get a bit happier note. Though it was kind of it was a nice mix last chapter. Some wholesome stuff, some kind of creepy stuff with Shion. Well, I don't know if it's creepy, but yeah. Let's just continue on and see what we got today. The rainy season was just around the corner, and the air had become so humid that my shirt stuck to my skin. Hate that. It's been a heat wave for like 2 weeks here. Well, not a heat wave, but like over 30. It's just got into like the mid 20s now, so it's starting to cool down a bit, but it's so annoying. It had been a few weeks since Satoshi couldn't stop showing up for baseball practice. Okay, so he actually quit. And so we skipped again a couple weeks. Interesting. Also, rainy season. I don't know if it's an in general thing in Japan, but I believe that's like around April. I think that's what my dad told me. Or March. One of the two. A long time ago when I was going there. Well, not a long time ago, but you know. I looked for him as soon as I arrived at the field. He's not here yet. Did I get here too early? I want to see him playing on the field right when I get here. I had started arriving late because of those feelings. However, he wasn't here today either. I didn't even bother hiding my disappointment anymore. Everybody knew by now how I felt. The team members from Mion class came over and tried to console me, but I shooed them away.
Sonozaki-san,
What's up, Irie?
気分が優れませんか?
You've been a good character so far. You're a good guy. God, I hate suspecting him, but it's just you just can't. You just cannot stop suspecting people. I can't. Maybe you guys can't, but in a mystery novel, everyone's on the radar, kind of. Even Irie couldn't comfort me. I was aware that he too knew why I was like this.
今日帰りますね。気分じゃないです。
ほら、今日は沖宮タイタンズさんと打ち合わせをする日じゃないですか。マネージャーの園崎さんにも同席してほしかったんですがね。
私を勝手にマネージャーにしないでください。私 マネージャーだったつもりはないんですから。
Irie looked down, not knowing what to say.
わかりました。元気が回復したらまた手伝ってくださいね。
もう来ないかもです。
Oh man.
マネージャーが必要なら私以外を募集してください。
気が向いた時でいいです。また遊びに来てくださいね。それにほら、あなたがいないとサトシ君が戻ってきた時寂しがりますよ。
I ignored him and turned around. Dodged the bait. Oh man, sad music. Sad start so far. I had already set up my schedule with Mion, so I didn't have to ask her every time anymore. I tried to contact her a couple of times to ask how Satoshi-kun was doing in school, but I hadn't been able to get through to her. Apparently, the Haid had sensed that I might be in contact with Sis. In other words, Sis was being watched. As a result, it hasn't been easy to contact her. Kasai, who had been helping me contact her, seems to have also been marked. People knew he was loyal to me. I hadn't seen him for a while either. It's all falling apart, huh? All I could do was wonder how Satoshi-kun was doing. I was frustrated because there's no way for me to know. My head was filled with worries. But something surprised me out of the blue. What's happening? Somebody called out to me when I was about to leave the field on my bike.
みーちゃん、こんにちは。
Yo, it's Rena! Finally! All we're missing is Rika for the main cast. I don't know if Keiichi's done up here. At least he'll be in the extras. This means Satoshi might actually be in the extras too, which would be cool. But what's up, Rena? I had a lot to say about you in the theories. You're like literally the most evil person in my theories, so no offense if you aren't. Look at those blue eyes. You think you can fool me? Think I don't know you stabbed Keiichi at the end of watching Higurashi? I got you. But this is good. This is I do want to see Rena and Shion's relationship. If they were possible partners, not Mion and Rena. Which would be fun. Anyways, what's up, Rena? I'd never seen this girl before. Luckily, she called me Mi-chan. There's only one person who refers to Mion that way, as far as I know.
レナか。珍しいね。レナがここに来るなんて。
Her name is Rian. Oh yeah, it's not even Rena. How do you pronounce that? Rihanna Ryudu. Her real name is Rihanna, but she wants to be called Rena. So that's what we call her. I wonder why. That was like a plot point in Wata? No, it was in Anatakashi. Anatakashi or Watanadashi. But it was just kind of a deal, and then everyone's like, don't worry, you're Rena to me. I think that's what Keiichi said. But who knows, huh? Rihanna, huh? She moved here in April. I had some information on her, but it was all ambiguous. Okay, so Rena's also... Wait, she moved here in April, so this has to be past April then. Maybe? Or did she just, like, come now? I don't know, I'm confused. But she is a new person, so she isn't, like, too friendly. I mean, she's probably friendly with people, but she's not, like, too well bonded with people, I guess. Okay. Yeah, Sis was still a bit uncertain about her since she's so new. It was hard for me to handle someone like that. I didn't know how to act around her as Mion, so I decided to pretend to be in an obvious sulky mood. This is interesting because Rena is, as we know, super sharp, so I wouldn't be surprised if Rena was the first person to discover Shion. That way, she wouldn't talk to me as much, assuming that Mion was simply feeling bad. Well, that's how I really am, anyway.
みーちゃんは帰り?
Still love that outfit. I think in my question arc review, I gave Rena my favorite outfit out of everyone. It looks kind of. Look at. I didn't even notice the big bow behind. It looks kind of silly, but it's pretty cute.
気分が優れないの？悪いね。
It also seems like everyone knows, or at least Mion knew about like Mion or Shion, whatever, knew about Rena's like crazy side. Like there's like a interaction into Higurashi, which was interesting. So maybe we'll see some of that in here.
じゃあ一緒に帰ろう。
I wanted to say I'd rather be alone, but there's only one road to Hinamizawa, so asking to be alone would look odd. The only way to not seem suspicious would be to walk home with her.
そうだね。帰ろうか。
Oh man, this is some risky business. Walking past the. Okay, I can already see Mion and Shion bumping into each other now, which would be funny. Kind of. But this is actually super risky. Rena quietly nodded. I unlocked my bike.
みーちゃん、傘は？持ってないけど。今日はこの後天気崩れるかもしれないんだって。傘ないなら急ごう。
Nice, Rena. Music. Nope, just rain. Thought that was gonna be a music cue. As she predicted, we were attacked by pouring rain on our way. We ended up taking shelter in a small shack in front of a bus stop.
すごい降りだけど、これはそんなに長引きそうじゃないね。向こうの空は明るいもの。
I wonder if this is the bus stop Akasaka met Rika at, because it's the only bus stop I know.
そうだね。
I heard the sound of rain pattering on the rooftop and the raindrops jumping into puddles. It sounded loud, but it made me feel strangely calm. Rain is super calming. I remember, like, as a kid, when I went to, like, my cottage, well, not my cottage, but a family's member's cottage, there's, like, a big rainstorm, and I would just, like, sit outside on the deck watching it. It's really chill. I zoned out for a moment, then Rena talked to me while I was looking up at the rainy sky.
最近元気ないって聞いたから心配してたんだよ。
All of the baseball team members knew I was depressed because I hadn't seen Satoshi-kun recently. Most of them attend the school in Hinamizawa, so it wasn't surprising that she knew as well. I hadn't been able to contact Sis the past few weeks, but I was sure she had an idea of how I felt about Satoshi-kun and how I would feel if he didn't come to his baseball practice. Sis was probably pretending to act a little depressed during her day today in Hinamizawa to avoid creating a big gap in our moods. But neither of us knew the details about the other right now. So it's a guessing game, which means a hole in either of those appearances might pop up. Which is dangerous. Well, dangerous. I mean, might be discovered. Who knows how dangerous it really is. So she wouldn't be able to answer if others asked her what was wrong. She'd only be able to say, "Leave me alone." That might lead more people to become worried. Rena must have thought Mion was depressed. That must be why she came all the way to see me. She must have known what was going on because she knew that I was at the baseball field. I mean, I guess most people, I guess Mion would definitely, realize that Shion has some sort of feelings for Satoshi. If she's going to baseball practice, every time and stuff. This has been going on for multiple months, I would say.
サトシ君、構ってくれないから寂しい？
Also, Rena has some sort of... I mean, obviously all the club members have some sort of relationship with Satoshi, but a big focus of Rena's character was about Satoshi in on Higashi, so this should also bring some light on that, hopefully. Though I guess that's also for next arc. I believe that's the Higashi arc. Having deduced what's been going on with Satoshi-kun from what she just said, he had been distancing himself from others lately because of exhaustion. That's what it sounded like, at least.
さとこちゃんの件でだいぶ悩んでるみたいだった。
I think Satoko is a cursed word in front of Shion. Don't say it.
サトシ君はすごく追い詰められてると思う。かわいそうだよね。
サトシ君は本当に妹思いだからね。偉いよ、本当に。
What I said sounded hollow, as I knew too well how much of a burden Satoko had become.
でもだからってみーちゃんまで落ち込んじゃったらかえってサトシ君を追い詰めちゃうように思うかな。
Kana?
私に追い詰めるつもりなんてないよ。
それはもちろん知ってるよ。でもだからこそ学校にいる時のサトシ君を笑顔で迎えてあげられなかったら本当にサトシ君は追い詰められちゃうよ。みーちゃんはたとえ嘘でも笑顔が作れる強い人間だって知ってる。だから嘘でも笑ってほしいの。最初はたとえ嘘でもね。笑顔って最後には本物になるんだよ。
What she was saying in a nutshell was this. Both Satoshi-kun and Satoko were totally wiped out. If Mian was also depressed, even though she's the sort of person who usually lightens the mood, their situation would be stuck in a vicious cycle. Rena sounded more like she was trying to give me advice than trying to console me. She must be more mature than she looks. Sis told me that she was a funny girl with a few bad habits, but she seemed to have another very mature side to her.
みーちゃんはサトシ君のこと好き？
Love talk.
好き。
Ah. Though I shouldn't have told her that. I immediately responded.
なら笑おう。
Rena smiled herself.
みーちゃんの笑顔できっとサトシ君に元気を分けてあげられると思う。みーちゃんはそれしかできないことに落胆しかけているかもしれないけれど、それでもね、多分それが一番サトシ君の力になる。
理屈ではわかるけどね。笑えったってそう簡単にはできないよ。
Rena giggled and nodded.
野球の練習にもさ、バイトが終わったらきっと帰ってくるから。
His part-time job? I almost asked that question, but I managed to stop myself. I assume that's the supermarket gig we had in that last hint, I think. From the tone of Rena's voice, it sounded like it was something everyone knew.
バイトか。いつ終わるんだろうね。
お金が貯まるまでだろうけど、どんなに遅くてもさとこちゃんの誕生日までには終わるよ。
I tried to figure out what was going on from what she said. I had to listen very carefully to uncover the whole picture. Satoshi couldn't seem to be working in order to make some money. I don't think it's easy to find a job when you're still in school. I believe in, though this is older, so maybe it's not as prevalent, but in Japan nowadays, high schoolers aren't. Well, I mean, maybe it's just some school policy where they're not allowed to have a job, which is obviously different from Canada, which is fine to have a part-time job. So this might have had something to do with it. His job only seemed temporary, and it seemed to have something to do with Satoko's birthday. It wasn't that difficult to figure out. Satoshi was working and saving up to buy his little sister something expensive for her birthday. Yeah, we still don't know what Satoshi was saving money for. Some people assumed it was a birthday present. Wait, wasn't he like buying a giant bear? So maybe it was just a birthday present? I don't know. I remember some giant bear, though that might not have been it. I might be getting mixed up. He was trying to comfort her, even though he was so torn up himself. Satoko again. Satoshi-kun was already worn out because of her, and he was now working for her sake even though he was exhausted. How stupid. It would be easier for him to just forget about Satoko. Whoa. Don't do that to Rena. Tears up with Satoko too. That's a spooky stare. I was startled when I realized Rena was looking straight into my eyes. She was smiling, but her eyes looked creepy. I never voiced what I was thinking. But she was looking at me as though she figured out I was blaming Satoko. She beamed when she noticed my fear. She smiled as though she understood that I thought I was that way because of love. She was giving me the creeps. I could hear thunder roar in the distance. Yeah, Rena's a creeper. The Xian's just learning that now. Well, I guess everyone would just be learning that now, huh? Well, everyone. Mion and Xian. Maybe Rika, she knows everything. I don't think Satoko would know that side, but who knows. The rain began to pick up.
さとこちゃんがサトシ君を独占してることに嫉妬を感じてる？
I avoided answering immediately this time, but Rena seemed to know what I was thinking already.
別にみーちゃんがそう思っても私は軽蔑しないよ。人を一途に好きになるときってそういうものだもん。
ありがとう。
Sounds like Rena has been in a similar situation. I speculated that might be why she was like jealous, and that's why she beat her classmate up. I don't exactly know though. Again, we're missing a lot more background information than Rena, than any other character so far.
でもみーちゃんは今までずっとさとこちゃんを励ましてくれてたよね。それって私すごく立派なことだと思うな。
さとこは仲間だもの。当然でしょ。
I sounded so fake. I felt like spitting on the floor.
私たちにはさとこちゃんもさとしくんも励ますことしかできない。どうやったらこの苦境から救ってあげられるのかわからない。
さとこがさとしくんにべったりしすぎなんだよ。さとこがもっとしっかりすればさとしくんがここまで追い詰められることはない。
I don't know if that's a good time to laugh, but it sounded so creepy.
はっきり言うね。
Rena nodded with an unflinching smile, even though my remarks could be taken as harsh. What was this mysterious girl thinking? It was difficult to get a read on her.
さとしくんもさ、ほんの少しはそう思っているとこあるかもしれないね。
Oh yeah, yeah. I agree with this statement. Obviously, we've seen that Satoshi thinks also that he's getting tired of protecting Satoko. So obviously it's part of the equation, but like, blame the aunt more, I guess, for actually being the abuser.
Eh?
Rena kept smiling, but her smile looked strangely cold.
さとしくんも多分心のどこかでさとこちゃんをかばい続けることに疲れを感じてると思う。
Given the type of person Rena is, I don't think she'd say something if she wasn't certain of it. Because of that, she must have been confident in what she just told me.
どうしてそう思う？
私さとしくんに打ち明けられたから。
Did like Rena read his diary? Is she just like collecting diaries and putting it in the garbage dump? Maybe that's her treasures. Satoshi couldn't secretly confess to her. Rena asked me to keep it that way.
さとしくんがね言ったの。兄として頼られることに。
I don't believe this. So, especially since Rena is so new, so why would Satoshi be so confiding in Rena?
それはとても罪深いことだと知っているけどってね。
I don't think he would say something like that. But, however, it wasn't likely that Rena was lying. I just met her, so I didn't know what made me feel that way. But my hunch told me that she was telling the truth. I heaved a huge sigh. Satoshi-kun must have gotten so tired that he couldn't help telling someone. Even so, even if he thought that way, he wouldn't tell somebody so easily. Maybe Rena led him to do so. She might be capable of something like that. I don't understand. This girl. It had only been a little while since we'd met, but I already started talking about something I was keeping deep inside me. Does she have some kind of supernatural power to reach into people's minds and drag out what they're thinking? It suddenly hit me that I was sitting with this creepy girl in a tiny shack. I'd been dragged into her strange world. I don't think Sis has realized Rena's real personality. She thinks Rena is just a funny girl with some strange habits. She would have told me if she knew.
レナはサトシ君に打ち明けられるくらいに信頼されてるんだね。
That's definitely a thumbnail worthy shot, if I remember. I've been forgetting, but I guess we haven't gotten a lot of CGs except for the very first one of Shion running away. Just some nice close-ups of Satoshi and Mion. Mion.
羨ましい。
別に信頼されてるわけじゃない。
Bruh, I'm just imagining Rena with a Mion cosplay on. Still, it's her, dude. It's her! If it's not, I'm gonna be so sad.
私が経験者だからだと思う。
経験？レナにも兄弟をかばったりした経験が？
ひたひたとずっと足音がついてきて。
Uh-oh, the footsteps I really couldn't explain. I mean, my theory videos were really like, some were good, some were not. Footsteps, I kind of just threw those away. With some pretty general explanations, so this should be fun.
夜は枕元にまで立たれて見下ろされる経験。
Huh? Sorry, Rena. What are you talking about? I turned around to face her and got the chills. It's freaking pale eyes. I want to believe that her eyes aren't actually like that distinctly different. It just looks kind of spooky, and that's just like an over exaggeration because obviously people can't just change their eye color naturally unless it's like some supernatural stuff, so let's just assume that. Though she was smiling, her eyes looked ice cold. I trembled and froze with my eyes open.
みーちゃんにはない？ないと思う。
Nope. Interesting how we didn't get a lot of Rena when in Totoroshi when Kiichi was experiencing those footsteps the most.
多分。
Ahahaha. Rena kept laughing derisively. I'm pretty sure we doodled that word sometime through the art, so it's alright. I know what it means. Trust. I tried to figure out what she was saying.
みーちゃんはひなみ沢から逃げ出そうとか。
I guess that's a combination of people who heard the footsteps, though Teichi wasn't exactly thinking about leaving Hinamizawa during Totoroshi, but I'm sure it was part of the plan to get Satoko out of there, maybe. No, he wanted things to be normal, so maybe not.
もっと都会に行きたいなとか。
But Satoshi and Rena might have. I mean, Rena definitely has moved, and Satoshi, that might have been one of his motivations to save money and leave with Satoko.
そういうことを考えたことはある？
I didn't know how to respond. Rena waited for my answer, urging me to speak with her silence.
ないよ。私は地元好きだし。
だよね。だよね。みーちゃんはそうだと思う。
It didn't seem like a good idea to lie to her. Rena has some kind of power I can't grasp. She can read people's minds just by seeing the slightest change in their expressions. So I had to tell her the truth. I mean, you could say that with Keiichi, but apparently everyone could freaking read his mind, so...
そうならば、みーちゃんは大丈夫。 お社様には怒られない。
お社様。
Oyashiro-sama, the Hinamizawa guardian deity. I couldn't understand why she mentioned that name. My mind stopped for a moment.
お社様。
She calmly repeated the name as if trying to teach me something. Yeah, I remember. Oyashiro-sama never allows heathens to desecrate Hinamizawa. Oyashiro-sama never allows the villagers to leave either. Those are the rules. Slowly, I recalled the fear of the curse which supposedly caused the dismemberment, murder, and the death of the Hojo couple. When I was sent to the institution, I had this fear. I was scared that if I went to that faraway boarding school, I'd fall under the curse. But I should be okay. I escaped from that school and returned to my hometown, to Okonomiya to be precise. But it should be okay according to the kids' rule, because I love Hinamizawa. The hate forces me to live this suffocating life, but I still choose to stay in this place. I don't believe that I'm breaking Oyashiro-sama's rules. Even though the Sonozaki family had selfishly banished me to a remote place, I came back here anyway. Oyashiro-sama should even bless me for that. I just am trying to convince myself that the curse doesn't apply to me. But I think I'm still afraid of it.
私は地元好きだから、その意味ではお社様のたたりがあるとは思っちゃいないね。模範的だとすら思ってるけど。
それは私も認める。だからこそサトシ君のことはわかんない。
どうして？
サトシ君は心のどこかでひなみ沢を捨ててどこかへ逃げ出したいと思ってるから。
Well, I guess the footsteps for Keiichi happened after he killed the Yonko, so maybe he did just want to leave unconsciously after murdering someone, even though he said he wanted to stay. I gave an audible cry. While I was feeling sad that Satoshi-kun hadn't shown up for practice, he still lived in Hinamizawa. So I never even considered the thought of him going away.
サトシ君が家出したがってるってこと？
無意識のうちに。お社様が枕元に立つまでは多分意識すらしてなかったと思う。
I still had no idea what she was talking about. I continued trying to figure out what she was saying.
サトシ君が体験していることはすべてお社様のたたりの前触れなの。誰かが遠くからじっと伺っている。誰かがずっとつけてくる。誰かがいつも自分のすぐ後ろから見ている。それらは初めのうちはお外でだけだけど、やがて後ろのそれは自分の家の中にまでついてくるようになる。そしてお布団に入って明かりを消してもずっと枕元から見下ろしてるの。ただただ黙ってじっと自らの罪を認めるまで。サトシ君は夢見が悪いって最初言い出したの。それで私がどんな夢と聞いたら、私の時をなぞるようだった。だから私彼に予告したの。その気配がやがて近づき足音を聞かせるようになり、常にサトシ君を見下ろしているようになったなら、それはきっと私の時と同じだから相談してって。サトシ君は初め私のことを怪げに思ったと思う。でも私が予告した通りにお社様が枕元にまで立つに至って、やっと自分の身に起こってることを相談できるのは私しかいないって気づいたの。
Rena didn't look like she was joking. She just calmly told me what had been going on. I couldn't even move. I couldn't tell if her words were a joke or the truth. I could only feel stunned.
私はね、もともとひなみ沢に住んでいたの。小学校に上がる直前にここから引っ越した。でも新しい環境に馴染めなくてね、心の中のお社様にひなみ沢に帰れ帰れって何度も呼びかけられてた。
So this is like the explanation of footsteps, but it is from Rena's view, so like how can you trust it? But at the same time it's like, how can you explain it rationally if 3 different people heard footsteps? Like, you just say it's a hallucination, but why would 3 people have the same hallucination is the problem? Making it easier to explain with supernatural stuff, because I can't actually think of, oh, my leg's asleep. I tried to stretch it. Oh god. But I can't actually think of like a normal thing that would happen if like you can say it's a hallucination from stress, but why would like 3 people have the same experience, assuming that Satoshi is feeling that, which I do believe Rena on that. I don't know how she knows that. I guess she really did talk to him, though. I wouldn't hate the idea that she just yoinked his diary. Sounds more probable to me, but who knows. So yeah, like, unless again maybe somebody is following them, but it sounds really difficult and probably not, unless this is like I don't know, a common trait of a certain mental disease, but I don't really know. I'm not really I'm not really educated on that. Like, what do I know? Schizophrenia, like, maybe, I mean, that could be, like, Rena or somebody with identity disorder stuff, but I don't know if there's something that, like... And again, why would everyone have the same thing, so who knows? But yeah, it's important to note that you shouldn't fully trust Rena's explanation, but, like, the idea of Oyashiro-sama following is actually more solid than any of the human theories I have, unless, like, everyone just has, like, the same thing going on. I don't know, high stress, paranoia is what I was thinking of, right? Where you're always being watched, so maybe everyone, because of their high stressful things that are happening in them in Hinamizawa, they're all super paranoid, so they think, I don't know exact, obviously I've never been paranoid, but like mentally, like, paranoid, not just like normally paranoid, but like maybe you do think that people are following you because you're scared of Hinamizawa. Like in Rena's case, it's because of she really believes in Oyashiro-sama, and like Satoshi's case, she's like maybe scared of the aunt and uncle, and in Keiichi's case, he's just scared of everyone, or he's scared of walking corpses or whatever. So that's it. I think it could be paranoia, it could be supernatural. It's a toss-up. I did say it could be like someone following them and then like freaking being actually a ninja, but I think that's kind of stupid, so. Though I do think people could be surveilling them, but I don't know about the footstep part. It's a very odd thingy going on.
小学生の子が泣きながら元の町に帰りたいって言ったって。
If you do a theory sheet, maybe I'll put I'll update the footstep stuff, because what did I say? I said something to do with scripting, which is fine. It seems a little bit of a cop-out, though, because of how meta it is, so I'll probably put the paranoia, and I like the idea of paranoia, I just probably should read up on it. And I don't hate Rena's idea, honestly. Like, I still think Rita's, like, most of the things happening aren't supernatural, but like Rita, either the world could be, if it's not a book, or Rita could be, because like I don't know how to explain her infinite knowledge. Anyways, that was a little tangent. Let's continue.
私は現実とお社様の声に板挟みにされてずっと過ごすことになる。そして
Whack. Bonked some people. Rena paused. It looked like she didn't want to go into the details of what followed. In general, she confused me even more.
結局いろいろあって私はひなみ沢に帰ってくることができた。 だからお社様にはそれで許してもらえた。あれ以来お社様の気配を感じることはないもの。でもね、サトシ君は私と違ってひなみ沢にいながらお社様のたたりを受けることになった。それはなぜか。理由は一つ。サトシ君はひなみ沢にはいたけれども、ひなみ沢を捨てて遠くに逃げたがっていたから。その心をお社様は許さなかったんだね。サトシ君は自問自答を何度も繰り返した挙句に
After a series of inner monologues. I mean, Rena, how can you know that if they're literally inner monologues?
ほら、サトシ君、アルバイトをしてるでしょ。サトコちゃんが欲しがったあの大きなぬいぐるみは
Hey,
10万円くらいするもんね。
I was right about the teddy bear. I remembered it. 100,000 yen. So that's like what, around 10,000 Canadian? What kind of bear are you buying? What
サ
the
トシ
heck?
君はサトコちゃんの誕生日までにその額を稼ごうとしている。
I don't even think there's in existence a stuffed animal that costs 10,000 unless it's like some real shit. I'm gonna type that in. $10,000 stuffed animal. I'm just interested. Like, who would even buy that? Nope, I see a $300. Let me put the money sign. How to make $10,000 on eBay using stuffed animals. There's some vintage stuff at like 500. Jesus Christ, though, 10,000 Satoshi. It's too much. just give her like $1,000 if you need to. $1,000. Wait, is it 10,000? Yeah, it is 10,000, right? Because 10,000 yen is one. Yeah. Just give her like $1,000 teddy bear if you're bawling out.
でもほら、考えてみて。それだけのお金があったら後先を考えなくていいなら、どこか遠くへ逃げ出す十分な費用になりうるんだよ。
So if he gets the money to buy this super teddy bear, he might just skip town instead.
サトシ君は無意識のうちにね、そのお金でサトコちゃんに誕生日プレゼントを買うんじゃなく、
And then also the lines don't match up with the dialogue, but that's okay. But again, since Ren is talking like she can literally read Satoshi's mind, so it's a little spoopy.
サトコちゃんを捨ててどこか遠くへ逃げ出すお金に使ってしまいたいって、それはサトシ君にとってはこの上なく罪深いこと。でもさっきみーちゃんが指摘したように、サトコちゃんの存在自体がサトシ君の負担になってるのは事実。サトシ君だってバカじゃないもん。兄として認めたくなかっただけでサトコちゃんが負担になっていることにはちゃんと気づいていた。だからサトシ君は葛藤してるんだよ。自分は妹を喜ばせるためのお金を貯めるためにバイトをしているつもりだけれども、それは自分の心を騙しているだけで、本当は自分が逃げ出すためのお金を作るためにバイトしてるんじゃないかって。私は逃げ出すべきじゃないと思う。逃げ出したってサトシ君は多分一生後悔する。お社様だってそれを分かってるからサトシ君にこうして警告してくれているの。サトシ君の心にサトコちゃんを見捨てるなんて悪魔のささやきが、サトシ君は綿流しの数日後だっけのサトコちゃんの誕生日にプレゼントを間に合わせるため、今いろいろなアルバイトに精を出してる。
It's also interesting that Satoshi disappeared like on Satoko's birthday or like near it instead of right after the Watanabe festival. So it would be interesting to see if maybe, wait, I don't know, or did he disappear at Watanabe? I don't remember. But if he disappeared after, like they're kind of bundling him up as the disappearance in connection with the murder. But like it's different, right? So that could be a sign that all of the murders are separate and they're just kind of happening on that day, either as the culprits are masking it as the curse, or it's just coincidence, or maybe someone else disappeared that day, and I don't know. I guess nobody knew since they're connecting the disappearance with the murder with Satoshi, not whoever else disappeared. I don't know. Two possibilities.
心も体も追い詰めてる。そんな苦境がきっとさとこちゃんの誕生日を境に終わるんだって信じて。サトシ君は今もお社様のたたりに苛まれている。さとこちゃんを守るか見捨てるかの天秤の狭間に立たされながらね。
The torrential rain didn't seem to want to stop. It kept pouring down on the galvanized iron roof, producing a loud noise. Yet in the shack, it felt completely silent. What the hell was Rena talking about? I couldn't even grasp even half of what she was saying. The only thing I figured out is that Satoshi-kun was struggling, confused, and in a lot of pain. He's suffering from Oyashiro-sama's curse? And Rena has experienced that before? The Watanagashi festival was right around the corner. Okay, so we have at least some sort of marker for what's going on. Interesting. So there's not a lot more time for a Shion to develop with Satoshi, so maybe it will be like a lot more one-sided than I thought. Well, I didn't know if they would actually like get that close together, but yeah. Oyashiro-sama's curse had struck 3 years in a row. There's no guarantee that it wouldn't strike a 4th time. Satoshi-kun was subject to Oyashiro-sama's curse even now? Was he going to skip town? Was he going to be the next victim of Oyashiro-sama's curse? Either way, he might disappear forever. Could I do something to prevent it? If I didn't do anything, it would all come to a hopeless end. End? I started feeling a sense of dread. I didn't buy the crazy story Rena told me, but if something really was happening to Satoshi-kun, which might bring about some kind of an end, I couldn't help feeling scared. It's true, isn't it? My instinct is always correct. I decided to contact Mion despite the danger. Mion got upset at first, but she had to listen to me. Okay. This will be interesting because I don't hate the idea that Mion was involved in at least one of those murders. I think the most likely, I want to say the first one, but it's kind of not at the same time. I don't know. I don't know about the second one. I still think Satoko yeeting them off the cliff is better. Third one, I have no idea. Could be anyone. Could be Rika. Who knows? So maybe the first one. I don't know.
サトシ君のことだけど、どういうことになってるの？
最近だいぶ険しい様子なんだよ。部活に声もかけられない雰囲気。
何それ？声をかけられないから、サトシ君がどういう状況になってるかよく分かってないってこと？
ごめん。
おねえ、キンキンにまた入れ替わる機会を設けてほしいの。
うん、それはもちろん構わないよ。でも最近はちょっと綿流しのお祭りの打ち合わせの絡みで日程の調整が難しいんだよ。何？
Maybe switching spots in the actual school, which means we would also meet Rika, which is cool.
またバイト？
私、
Yeah.
ひなみ沢の学校へ行く。
Nice, nice. So I'm guessing we're not gonna get fun club times this arc, because it's almost close to the Watanagashi, and I guess Satoko's already depressed, along with Satoshi, so... And Rena's being creepy already. Everything's already not being wholesome, except for those few scenes, huh? Oh well. Let's just get into it, huh? That's the chapter end? Beautiful. It's the mic drop. I'm going to your school. Good chapter. Good Rena appearance. Being creepy right off the bat. If I had to guess, like, my explanation for her knowledge of knowing what Satoshi was thinking, I really do think she could have just, like, stole his diary. I don't, like, obviously. And then again, for the footsteps, maybe it's Oyashiro-sama. I don't hate the idea because I feel like if Rika is being, like, supernaturally connected to something, it would be Oyashiro-sama. Or whatever. Or it could be, like, some weird case of paranoia that, like, again, I haven't read on it, but, like, since all three are, like, super stressed and want to leave and feel like they're being watched, again, don't know exactly what's happening with Rena, but I feel like the footsteps could be a thing of that, and maybe they all could be watched if they're, like, a target for the next murder. So we have 2 tips. Let's do that now. Maybe we'll get to an hour. We have 51 minutes on the board. They're only pages, though. Wonder which notebook this is. This one's blue and this one's pink, so maybe they're 2 different notebooks. Dun, dun, dun. Why don't I relate my encounter with that creepy girl in the rain? Her name is Rena Ryudu. Okay, so this is Shion, and Shion could have possibly been the first hint thing, but I don't think so, so this might just be something new, huh? Her real first name is Rihanna. I have no idea what kind of girl she really is. One thing is certain, she has no relation to the Sonozaki family. She has no relation to the 3 families as a whole, either. The Ryugu family used to live in Hinamizawa, but then they moved to Ibaraki. That was before she went to elementary school. They returned to Hinamizawa some years later. Rena Ryudu said she came back because Oyashiro-sama told her to. I don't know what that means. She said it was the curse of Oyashiro-sama. That Oyashiro-sama had stalked her. I think that was probably a hallucination, but Satoshi could have been interested in that experience. She said that Satoshi-kun was also experiencing Oyashiro-sama's curse. I mean, I guess Rena could have taught her if she actually said, oh, I'm feeling the same things you are, or I experienced these footsteps like you. I guess we won't really know without Satoshi's perspective, though. Satoshi-kun told her that he was being followed by some unknown existence. He was surprised to learn that Rena had the same experience before. What is Oyashiro-sama's curse? Why did Rena and Satoshi-kun have a similar experience? It's hard to say. I believe that means somebody put them under surveillance. Somebody must be spying on the next victim of the curse. I don't hate that idea either. It's just hard to explain the footsteps. Because, like, maybe they could be doing footsteps, but imagine, like, looking around and they just jump into a bush or hide or something. It just seems too much of a meme. Since Ren and Satoshi-kun both blindly believed in Oyashiro-sama's curse, they interpreted it as Oyashiro-sama's presence. If paranoia kicked in, they feel as if they're experienced paranormal phenomena. Yo, Shion, or if you're not Shion, but it really feels like you should be Shion. We're in sync right now. It's always a good feeling. Judging from what Rena said, it seems that Satoshi-kun had been put on surveillance since long before the Watanashi. Also, this does sound like it's in the future. So, future Shion, future somebody. Naturally, you're assuming that literally, unless Rena had a literally same conversation with someone else in the rain, then it should be Shion. So, one question comes to mind. Why are they watching Rena? I'm assuming that this surveillance was placed on a victim to be of that year. If so, I don't understand why Rena went through it. Why did they watch her, even though she was living so far away? If she was considered somebody who abandoned the village, I could understand, but she didn't fall victim in the end. Maybe she was forgiven because she came back to Hinamizawa. I guess she still knows something I don't. Interesting. I'm just trying to let this song drop because I like this song. Again, different backgrounds, so this could be a nice bait, being two different notebooks. Bam, 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 bam. Okay, let's go. I'm getting hungry too. It's almost time for lunch. Satoshi-kun looked terrible. When he went home, he had to mediate a fight between Satoko and their aunt. He became mentally exhausted. He went to work every day. He became physically exhausted. He no longer communicated with his classmates. He's either slept on his desk or was gone somewhere during the lunch break. He used to be really gentle. It was painful to see him suffering like that. On top of all of that, he was dealing with the curse of Oyashiro-sama. He must have been completely, totally, and absolutely exhausted. That curse was a form of surveillance by those planning to victimize Satoshi-kun that year. That means that the other victim was in the same situation. Satoshi-kun's act had also been watched. Did she not notice any presence? What about the others? Did the victims of the previous incidents also experience it? I need to investigate the facts in order to prove the curse on Satoshi-kun was actually just surveillance. Is it surveillance, paranoia, or really the curse? This is interesting. I don't hate the idea that this was like in the Keiichi era. So that would be kind of cool, like really later in the series where the journal like mentions Keiichi. And maybe this is showing like the motivations of this person who I assume is Shion in Watanagashi. But yeah, we're gonna wrap it up today. Thank you for watching. This has been a very good chapter. Probably the best one so far in the arc. Though they've all been. It's been an enjoyable read. Like I said, I'm a bit more extra hyped than usual for this since it is the first of the answer arcs. But hopefully you enjoyed. As I said, it won't be daily anymore. It'll be like 3 to 4 a week. Who knows? Maybe I'll throw another week in. I just don't like having that pressure of saying, "Oh, I'm recording for a week," and then feeling obligated to actually do it. But yeah, you'll still. Ooh, what did I do? Oops. But you'll still see this fairly regularly, and hopefully you enjoy. Next time we'll see how Shion does in Mion School. We'll see Rika for the first time. We'll see Satoko not in a hint for the first time. Satoshi, Chia. Who doesn't love Chia? Yay! But yeah, see you next time. We're getting close to the Watanagashi. Things will get extra spicy soon. Maybe.